Alrighty, so we've got some information on the It Works Cleanse tonight, and we've got something from our. This is right off the client or the It Works eSuite. So when you log into eSuite and you click on Documents up at the top, and then you go down, and on the left-hand side it says Product Information.
Mm-hmm.
Click on that. You go clear to the bottom of the list, and this is the newest thing that's been added. And there's 2 or 3 different documents. This is the one that says Social Media, and it's just a JPEG picture that you can copy, paste, and post to wherever to let people know. Or we just printed it out, and it's got several good things on here. And what I'll do is I'll just put this right here for a minute. I'll just hold that up. The newest thing is It Works Cleanse. It's got good bacteria in it, not in it. The good bacteria in the greens, and so when we talk about the good bacteria, the probiotics, that gets into our system to help cleanse us on the inside, helps boost our immune system. 70% of our immune system is in our gut. So when we don't have a good functioning gut system, our body can have the sniffles and the flu. We get an earache because our gut isn't working right, and we don't realize that. But lots of times there's so much interaction in our body that we need to have everything working really well. So along the way comes the sense that we need to keep it supported, and we need to keep it going really well. And the Cleanse is their newest product that does that. Hey, Doc. Toxic hangover is something that is kind of new to a lot of people thinking about this. When our body becomes toxic because of toxins and sludge and junk that's in our system basically rotting in there. Just you take an apple, you take a carrot, you take good food, you put it in, you chew it up and swallow it, it digests through, but it doesn't get through all the way and eliminated in a timely fashion. That stuff just sits in there and it just turns into sludge and it putrefies. Most of us adults actually carry between 5 and 10 pounds of extra sludge in our colon, and we don't even realize it. We have bowel movements, things happen like they're supposed to, but it just doesn't completely eliminate. When you chew up, have you ever had a bagel, eaten a bagel? And if you take a bite of a bagel and you chew it in your mouth and you feel all that eventually before you swallow it, next time you do that, think of this. It feels kind of slimy and it's just kind of gooey in there. Well, that's because of all the gluten that's in that. And that kind of stuff is the same. The gluten in bagels and such is the same stuff they use in wallpaper paste. And so all of a sudden you're consuming that. And you know what? It just gets into our system. It just gets in there and it stays in there. And it starts to coat the lining of our intestines. And then all of a sudden we can't absorb food, we can't eliminate toxins, and just stuff doesn't work like it's supposed to. And so that's where the Cleanse really comes into balance here for a minute. Before I talk completely about the Cleanse, I want to talk about the system. The It Works system is basically, they start out with their wrap. Their wrap, of course, is their crazy wrap thing. That's where the company started. No other company out there has that. And for the haters and the bashers out there about the wrap, it's because they don't have a clue actually how it works. People talk about proprietary blends in the wrap, and the Cleanse has 2 different proprietary blends in it, things like that. They say, well, they're not listing on the ingredients or the concentrations. Well, Coca-Cola doesn't list the proprietary blend on their can so that people can copy what it is. Dr. Pepper doesn't tell you what the 31 flavors are, whatever those things are that are in there. Proprietary blend, folks, means patent. No company is going to release their patent and let people steal it. That is an absolute business suicide. Why would you do that? So to have a company that puts out quality products that are safe and they work and the body processes things, processes the nutrition and they're bioavailable as a result of taking them, they're not gonna tell you what all the concentrations are. So we have to trust. There's an element of trust involved in these nutritional companies too. And the companies that do reveal everything realize that they're using a lot of synthetics. They're using a lot of synthetic stuff in their products that make a difference, not in a good way in our body. So nonetheless, it starts with the system starts with the wrap. And they've actually, in the new system that they've just released, they've given us away with some great products to really dial it in to a system that works as far as understanding going from point A to point B and all the way through a process. The system starts with the Cleanse as far as wrapping, and what they've suggested now is that starting with the wrap, every 72 hours, it's every 3 days. So if you want to pick Monday and Wednesday and or Sunday and Wednesday or whatever, and just pick 2 days a week like that, about 3 days apart, that you're going to wrap on a regular basis. That's actually what they're talking about. And the way the wrap works, again, with their proprietary herbs and nutrition that's in that, and essential oils, is it actually helps pull toxins out of the fat tissues that are under the skin. Think about this. We have breakouts, we have rashes, we have eczema, we have psoriasis, we have pimples, all because our body's trying to eliminate toxins. In chiropractic, I've always known from 20 years ago when I was in school that if somebody comes in and they've got a lot of stuff on their skin, we need to look at their lower back. You need to look at their digestive system to make sure the nerves are allowing the colon to move like it's supposed to, and to be cleaning house and eliminating, and the person's not constipated. The more constipated a person typically is, the more toxic they are, and you see it through the skin. The skin's an organ of protection, but it's an organ of excretion. So toxins come out through the skin. And so if we're not eliminating them out of our colon, or if our kidneys aren't working right and filtering the blood and getting rid of it, our body becomes toxic. And as it becomes toxic, we have all kinds of sicknesses and diseases, or the toxic hangover, where our body just starts to just kind of become sluggish and tired, and we never recuperate fully like we're supposed to. We don't sleep well at night, and we don't wake up well rested. Those are toxins, and we get toxins from our environment and stuff we eat and stuff around us, and it's more of an issue than we think it is. And for a lot of people, if you just get the toxins out, half the battle of health would probably change for that person. So all of a sudden now you've got the stuff in your system, and your body's not eliminating it very well, and your fat storage in our body, when we have toxins in our bloodstream and such, our body will put those in a fat cell for protection. When we have chemicals, herbicides, pesticides, and we live in a rural world, we don't live in the big city, so we've got pesticides and herbicides from the farms and everything else in the air. It's part of what we do. If we lived in the city, we'd have more pollution and those types of things from car exhaust and cigarette smoke and stuff that's hanging around in the concrete jungle as we're breathing it in. And so we all are going to have that in our system. But what the body does is it puts those toxins and it sequesters them. It puts them inside a fat cell. So if this room right here were a fat cell, the body puts us in here and puts water in here to kind of keep us in jail. Mm-hmm. And then let's say all of a sudden we left. We got purged out. Somebody came through or something came through and opened up the front door and pulled us out. If we can't get out because the door's locked, then we're just going to hang out in here and we're just going to, who cares? But if you open the front door and you start to flush, and all of a sudden we start going out with all the water that we're floating in here, like an aquarium that all of a sudden is punctured and broken, or a water balloon, all the toxins come out, the size of that aquarium or balloon or this room is going to shrink down because the body doesn't need a fat cell full of air and doesn't need the water in there because it got rid of the toxins. So all of a sudden our fat cells start to shrink. That's just a fact of science. We can go back to human physiology. We can talk that story all day long on how fat cells expand and contract. So the number of fat cells doesn't change, but what's in them, the quantity of stuff that's in there, does. So what the wraps do is on the surface, it helps those oils, they soak down, and for 72 hours, what's on that wrap and absorbs in your skin is active. So that's why I say don't need to do it any sooner than 72 hours. Sure, you can wait a week or 2 or 3 or 4, but if you do it every 72 hours, you're going to start a process of getting momentum going where it starts to change what's in that tissue. And then all of a sudden, those fat cells start to eliminate toxins. They open up the floodgates, stuff starts coming out, and that's how the wrap works. So now let's take 2 days where we just say, you know what, I'm going to cool it with the Doritos. I'm going to cool it with the Triscuits or the wheat thins because that's processed. I'm going to cool it with the white bread, the white potatoes, and I'm going to remove the stuff that is on this list here with the system. Let's just start with 2 days. We wrap. Now it's 2 days. We're going to take the value meal, for instance, of what we might get at a drive-thru at a convenience, and put a smaller portion that's only the size of my hand of higher quality food, like a piece of chicken or some turkey breast or whatever the case may be, and eat that instead of a burger. Let's have a salad instead of the fries. Let's all of a sudden, instead of having a white potato, have a sweet potato, because it's colorful and there's better nutrition in there. Instead of a piece of white piece of bread, let's have a whole grain piece of bread, and that's going to make a big difference. Avocado is wonderful and great. And so right here on that information system, you got all those different things instead of some type of cookie or dessert. You're going to have a piece of fruit because it's sweet, and that could be your treat. Some strawberries and blueberries instead of that sweet treat otherwise. So those are just a couple of things there that make a difference, and that's just common sense. That's nothing new. That's nothing proprietary. It works, but they're just saying, hey, let's do that. Let's make a conscious effort to do that for 2 days in a row. It's biblical. In the Bible, it talks about fasting. It talks about eliminating certain things and just really focusing on, and some of that was from a spiritual standpoint of focusing, okay, I'm doing this because it's reminding me that it's not my normal routine, and I'm gonna really focus on God for 2 days or 2 weeks or 21 days or whatever the case may be. But you don't have to do that on an everyday basis necessarily, although if we did, even better yet. Think about that. So 2 days we're going to remove, and now the new cleanse product, they've said on those 2 days, when you wake up in the morning, drink a bottle of the cleanse, and then before your evening meal, drink a second bottle. On day 2, drink a bottle of the cleanse, first thing in the morning, and then before your evening meal, drink that second bottle, and then you're done. That's the cleanse product. And what it does, it has blue agave nectar in it, which is a sweetener, but it happens to be filled with a type of soluble fiber that provides inulin, which is the special sugar that probiotics, good bacteria that your gut needs, that's what they live on. So now in the greens, which is also part of the system, drinking the greens every day, so at least one serving of the greens every day. On the days you wrap and the days you remove, you're drinking the greens, and you continue that on an everyday basis. And why wouldn't you? Because where's the information that says, all right, only eat good foods for 9 days out of the month, or just on Sundays? No, we know as a human species we should eat good every day. But if we're having trouble with that, we're at least getting the good nutrition of the greens in us, because the greens are 8 servings of vegetables, fruits, anti-inflammatory herbs, and a lot of other things that will make a difference as far as the overall health goes. So with that said, the greens on a regular basis have probiotic in it, and the probiotic then feeds off of the blue agave nectar that's in the cleanse, and it makes it that much more effective and that much more powerful. As a result of that, there's also I lost my train of thought there. The aloe vera leaf. We've used aloe vera for a long time when it comes to healing the digestive system. Aloe vera is used to help heal ulcers and ulcerative colitis and things like that in our gut. And so aloe vera is very, very good. We put aloe vera, fresh cut aloe vera on burns and cuts and such to help us heal here. Well, why can't we put it on the inside? Well, now we can with this particular product. So other nutritional companies have had that over the years, and this is the neat thing about this particular product, is it's rich in that. So they actually have 2 proprietary blends. One is the herbal cleanse, and one is the nutritional cleanse blend. This was released last Saturday, announced to us. We placed our order right away that day. We got our shipment in on Wednesday. So last week, Thursday and Friday were our first 2 days of the cleanse product. Many people have explained the taste as kind of like spicy pineapple juice. That's kind of how I would say it. It definitely is kind of a fruit juice flavor to some degree because of the agave, the sweet agave nectar that's in there, and the aloe vera. But it has a cayenne pepper chase down the back of the throat. It's spicy. You drink it and you feel it kind of burn down through here, and that's because of, again, the stuff that's in it. The first bottle, I kind of took my way through it, and it's like, all right, we're gonna see how this goes. The second bottle was better. By the second day, 3 and 4, I was completely fine. It just tasted fine to me. It wasn't any big deal. I drank it and didn't even have a drink to follow it down. I just drank it down and went on with my business. The biggest thing I noticed, the biggest thing I can report back is that by day 2, especially, I just felt at ease. My gut just felt at ease. I didn't feel like it was working. It didn't feel like it was doing anything, or unsettled, or bloated. I felt like there was a sense of bloating that had started to diminish or leave me completely. In the last 3 days, didn't eat necessarily as great over the weekend. I feel some of my usual bloatedness coming back. Um, Anything in life isn't a quick fix. And people that want the quick fix from the wrap have got to realize that no, it isn't a quick fix, and they never said that it was. Some people get a fast result. Some people genetically blink and lose 7 pounds. That's just the way it is. Some people blink and gain 12 pounds. That just happens. Those are genetic things. So people that, have questions about this stuff, yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all. The business side of it's not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody's going to approach this from a different standpoint, and it's going to grow in different ways. But the cool thing is, with the system, you've got the ability to wrap. You have the ability to remove bad foods, drink the cleanse for 2 days, and they've said no more often than once a week. So right there, I'm thinking, as I want to have any extra purchases made as this month goes, or the next month, I'm going to buy extra cleanse, because I think what I want to do for myself after doing 1 2-day cleanse is I want to commit to 2 days a week that I do this for at least a month to 6 weeks and see how it goes for me.
Now, obviously you take your greens every day too, but do you need to wait after taking the cleanse any amount of time, or?
I don't think so. They don't really say that, I gave it a half an hour.
Okay.
Why not? I followed with some water, that first couple of times, but, definitely give it a little bit of time, but, get those greens down. If the normal routine is greens in the morning, then you go for it. And so we've got the wrap, we've got the remove, which includes the cleanse, and then we have the reboot, which is the thermofit that they've said, just go ahead and do that every day. And take that thermofit every day along with your greens, and that's helping reboot your metabolism, giving you a bump up, and help your body start to burn some of what you've stored. Ultimately, the goal is to burn more than you store. So if you can exercise and you can build lean muscle mass, yeah, you're going to improve your metabolism. We mentioned a couple weeks ago, or last month at our Tuesday meeting, how basically from about age 30 on, we lose about 1 pound of muscle mass per year. So in 10 years, we've lost about 10 pounds worth of muscle mass, which 1 pound burns about 50 calories a day just by existing. So in 10 years, you're down 500 calories per day that your body isn't burning that it did when it was 20, 25 years old. So now if you continue to eat the same level of food, same level of calories, you don't burn it as fast, and that's where some of this stuff happens. Which is why we see, just as a general rule, so many folks that may have been fit and lean and active in their younger years, just generally as an American population, they're just having weight problems later on in life. So you have to eat less or keep active, keep exercising to keep your muscle mass up so that you can naturally burn it. Well, if you can throw a thermofit in there every day, and all of a sudden burn an extra 100, 200 calories a day just from that, in addition to anything else you would do, and eating better and not putting on, maybe using the fat fighters, maybe using some other stuff to give your body the assistance that is available to it. Doesn't even have to. But sometimes we'll see better results and quick results, more long-lasting results when we do that type of a process. And so now you've got a system where you can work through each one of those particular things and then repeat that. The next week or the next month, you start back with making sure you use some wrapping in there. But then especially the cleanse. And so that's what I like about the cleanse, is because there's so much good stuff in there that actually is going to help heal, at the same time eliminate. And I wasn't running to the bathroom like some people thought they might be. At the conference, they said it's white pan approved. It's not something that's nasty. It's not something that makes you uncomfortable.
I wondered about that.
Can you use the regular with it? Sure, you still could if you have that big of an issue. I would say, hey, let's get your spine adjusted and make sure that you don't have a toxic constipation issue because your nerves to your bowel are paralyzed. That's where I come from. But people that have never heard that before, and never heard about chiropractic before, or aren't using chiropractic, then they're going to find the regular may help them too. But again, nerve pressure is something we want to definitely eliminate. See you later, Doc. So those are just important things that come about because of what they've set up. And that's why when we look at it from a model to help people, as we start as health coaches, nutritional coaches, learning this, and passing it on to people. How can this system make a difference for you? Well, we've got a system that includes greens that help alkalize your body. Your body works better when it's not acidic. And so alkalinity in your body helps eliminate things like cardiovascular heart disease, inflammatory arthritis in your body, helps eliminate the fact that cancer can't survive as well at all in an alkaline environment. Does this cure cancer? That's not what I said. But I said cancer can't survive in an alkaline body very well at all compared to an acidic body. So let's give ourselves a boost by having more alkaline in our body. Magnesium is a natural muscle relaxer. I don't know anybody that isn't uptight and tense. Lots of muscle spasms, fibromyalgia. That's a muscle type problem, which is lots of toxins in there and fibrous tissue that's tight. Shoot, let's get going on greens and help the body shift that way. We're going to do greens. We throw the thermofit in there to boost the metabolism up so you're burning some of the stuff you've got stored. When you remove bad foods for 2 days and replace them with better foods than usual, just 2 days a month, and throw the cleanse in there, and that'll give the cleanse a better chance to do what it's supposed to do with the aloe vera juice, the blue agave juice, and the other juices that are in there, and the other herbs that are in there to start to cleanse the system. And then I think, personally, as that process happens over the course of 6 or 8 weeks, I think then we're really going to start to see some of that junk in the sludge of the colon start to come out a little bit more than just one time or just 2 times. I think it's going to take some time to rebuild that intestinal health, and then all of a sudden we're there. $120 for all of that. If you're going to do just the one, the 2 bottles, 120. The 120 is
it's 147 total.
Yeah, without the cleanse. With the cleanse now, it's 147, and that includes a shaker bottle. So you can put extra greens, you can put extra whatever with the shaker bottle, and just make sure you're drinking as much water. Another reason I think any of the Airworks products, including the wraps, are not as effective as they could or should be, is because people become dehydrated. Most people do not drink enough water. So there's a new app out called the Wrap app.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Take a before picture, you hit the timer, you take an after picture after 45 minutes, it prompts you along the way. And when you do that, if you just do it, you start getting messages on your phone that just says, make sure you're drinking water. Even in that 45 minutes or say, make sure you're drinking water. How come? Well, because your body's pulling toxins out, and you want to sweep them out of your urine instead of letting them sit there, and the body says, we pulled toxins out, and now look, they're all hanging out on the sidewalk. Let's get them back in here. We open the jail and let all the inmates out, and they're just standing around. Nope, let's bring them back in, because we gave them a chance to go, and they didn't. So flush them on out of there. And I think that's where a lot of us don't get the benefits of that as much as we could or should. So,
Well, since I've been doing the greens, I have quit my allergy pills. I haven't had to take them anymore. I had 2 different water pills that he was giving me to get rid of the fluid in my ankles, and I don't take those anymore.
why does our body retain water? It's toxic.
And also, I haven't had to use my estrogen patches. And I don't understand how the greens could have changed that, but that's the only thing that's different.
What were you noticing with estrogen when you did have the patch on? Just the way you felt?
Oh yeah, if I
Energy,
didn't
movement?
if I didn't take the patch, and it finally got to the point where I had to do 2 patches 3 different times a week. Had to change it. That's how bad it got. I mean, it was one of those that I would snap. I mean, I was ready to you look at me wrong and I wanted to just strangle you. And I was crabby. I was gaining weight. I felt crappy. And I'm not a problem.
We're detoxifying. Estrogen is still, when we have it in a patch form, it's still a toxin. It's a chemical coming into us. There's nothing natural about a patch on us.
I haven't used the patch in probably, I guess about 3 to 4 months. I haven't used it.
That's a great story. Just tell your story. Just tell your story. Don't worry about everybody else. Just say, this is what I noticed. All of a sudden there's going to be somebody that says, hey, that's kind of where I'm at. Can I do that?
Well, before the greens, if my estrogen wasn't where it was supposed to be, and it needed to be about 120 before I felt good, it got down to like 17 at one point. And I could tell. I mean, I could tell. I told them what was wrong before they did the blood work to find out. And I don't have that feeling. So I know what that feeling is like, and I haven't had it since.
Right. There's nothing better than whole food nutrition. and that's what the greens are. You take a bunch of kale, you take some spinach, you take some carrots, you take some beets, you take some parsley, you take some lemon, you take all this stuff and you put it in the blender and you blend it down, and now you dehydrate it, you take all the water out, and you're left with the powder. And that's virtually, I mean, I'm dumbing it down obviously, but that's virtually what that is. You eat food and your body says, hey, I can use that and that and that. I don't need any of that because I'm good with that right now. So it goes on through. When we give it a pill, when we give it something synthetic that's chemical, a lot of our vitamin sources out there are all synthetic. It kind of sort of tricks our body in a way. And we're trying to think, oh, I need this much vitamin C, and research said I need this much of this and this much of this, and so you're trying to put them all in you. Well, when it's in whole food, your body can actually use it because it's usable. Just because you take a calcium tablet or some source of calcium that says it's all natural, that doesn't mean your body uses it. In fact, we can go down the road, down towards Jefferson City, and there's these things alongside the road that are called bluffs. There's lots of sandstone around here. And you know what? We can stop alongside the road and we can pick up one of those rocks, and it's high in calcium carbonate. And all of a sudden we can start licking that, and we can start taking little chunks of it and swallowing it, and we're getting all natural calcium. There's nothing, and the science is right there. We can look at the science of that rock and know that it's calcium and all these other minerals that are in there. But guess what? Our body can't use that. But when we have an orange or a grapefruit or a lemon and the citric acid that's in there and the calcium that's in that food, our body can use that. And it actually uses citrus fruit calcium way better than it even uses the calcium that's in milk from cows. So now all of a sudden, instead of drinking, the dairy department's done a great job on telling us how important it is to milk does the body good, enriched with vitamin D. We all know that that's good. But how much gets into your bones? They don't tell us that story. And if you'd actually, if the orange people and the grapefruit people in Florida would do a better job of getting that message out, we'd be buying more oranges, and the cow industry would go downhill because of the fact that we actually get more from citrus fruits, calcium in our system. So again, whole foods, just because it's all natural doesn't mean it's good. All natural could include sawdust. It's all natural. But I don't need that kind of fiber, and I don't want that kind of fiber. I can get you that kind of fiber, but that's not bioavailable. So that's where, when we start talking with folks, if you all can really be encouraging people for the system, and you're looking at 147 for that system for a month, and if that person likes that, then might as well be a distributor, because then they can share with a couple people and get their product for free. Really, that's how that works when you become a distributor, is that all of a sudden you like this stuff so much, might as well be a distributor, because now for a small investment, you're going to get commissions to the point where you can get your products for free. And you can start trying other stuff, which is what I'm doing. I'm trying this stuff, and I don't even consider buying it. I'm just getting it for free, because my check from Networks is so big that I can put it right back in there. It's bigger than what I consume in a month. That's what big means to me. It's just, you know what? I can try this and this and this, and I want to do that, and let my body experience the benefits of that. I haven't done it to the degree that I want to yet, but that's where I'm headed. So that's an important thing. The other thing is, from a volume standpoint, the cleanse is dollar for dollar. If you buy just the box of 4 cleanses, which is what you need for one person for 2 days, it's $36 and 36 BB. So it's dollar for dollar better than some of the other options that are out there for right now. And it's a great quality, which I think our body needs. Check this page out. This one that's colored, or it's not colored for you on the website. It is. Kick that toxic hangover. Every day our body's attacked by toxins found in your food and environment. They help bad bacteria to flourish in the colon, crowd out the good bacteria. The result is a toxic overload that can leave you feeling bloated, sluggish, and foggy with a toxic hangover, as we talked about a little bit ago. So, you feed the good bacteria with the blue agave extract. Slow fermenting soluble fiber reaches deep into the colon, working as a prebiotic to feed the good bacteria and rebalance the microflora. The microflora is the small little good bacteria that have to live in there. My grandmother told me, she'd always say, they farm our garden, which we had about 2 acres worth of garden between her place and our place. Lots of garden when I was a kid. We'd go out there and we'd pull a carrot and we'd rub the dirt off and we'd eat it. And you knew what dirt tastes like, because you always are eating dirt off of fresh vegetables. No big deal. She said, I think it's really important for kids especially, but for everybody to get a whole peck worth of dirt every year. And, how big's a peck? I don't know. It's about that big, right? Point being is that there's good bugs. There's germs. There's good bacteria that are in that dirt. And if there wasn't, then think about it. Fresh food wouldn't grow in it. You wouldn't get a carrot. You wouldn't get a radish. You wouldn't get lettuce. You wouldn't get potatoes if that was toxic. But there's good bacteria in there, which allows them to grow. And then you eat those fresh veggies when they've been processed and eradicated with radiation and antibiotics and stuff for meats, and they go to the store and you buy it and eat it, and that stuff gets in your system. You start to kill the good stuff in your system. Antibacterial soap kills the good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria. How does it know the difference between the two? It doesn't. It just kills it all. And now you don't have good bacteria going into your mouth. So I still am a proponent of washing your hands after the bathroom, but nonetheless, sometimes a little of that bacteria is actually good for your system. And so we want to put the good bacteria in. Again, the greens do that with the spore formula, the spore of the good bacteria, meaning it's like the seedling, and it doesn't have to be refrigerated because it's dormant, it's sleeping. That's what spores are, just like fungus with mushrooms and other things like that. The spores are just going to hang out until they're activated, and they're activated by that warm, moist environment. So once you put it in the water and drink it at a certain temperature, then it starts to activate and comes alive. And that's the microflora that we're talking about in the greens. And now the inulin, which is in the blue agave extract, is that fiber that it needs to when it wakes up and says, hey, where am I? Oh, hey, there's lunch. Good. And they've got something to go on. People that have yeast infections or candida, things like that, it's an overgrowth of the white stuff, the overgrowth of the yeast because the good bacteria weren't there plentiful enough. Usually after antibiotics and things like that, that type of infection comes about. So you need to replenish with good bacteria. Cleanse the colon with the slow fermenting process. Like I said, it cleanses away toxins without the harsh effects of other cleansers can cause. A lot of cleansers, a lot of people that do a cleanse, some type of a body cleanse, a 21-day cleanse or a 10-day cleanse, those types of things. And I've got stuff on my shelves in the past that I've used with people, and they make you double over in pain. They really hurt because the colon's doing this. This doesn't do that. It's more gentle than that. And as a result, that's why I say, you know what? A couple bottles of this stuff, a couple days worth, and then in a week or two later, let's do it again. And just trying to keep that going. It's a system. Good habits create good outcomes. If you go to the gym for 4 weeks after January 1st, I tell most people don't worry about your New Year's resolution January 1st because the place is going to be packed when you go to the YMCA. Wait till about Valentine's Day, because if you go there now this week, it's a third of the people that were there 6 weeks ago or even a month ago, because people just fall off the wagon because it's hard to keep those good habits going. But if you start now and you can get the machines you want, then you're going to be more likely to probably stick with it because it's going to be a win for you. Supports cellular health. Micronutrients found in aloe vera leaf gel work synergistically. They work together with blue agave extract. They work together. Synergistic means they help each other out to nourish that microflora. And then the colon walls can start to heal. A lot of times we have problems with gluten intolerance and celiac disease and a lot of other things, multiple sclerosis even in some theories, because of a problem called leaky gut syndrome. What happens is the cell walls get broken down, the walls of the actual intestines get broken down, they get abused, so they start to get thin. And when things get kind of thin, then proteins can kind of pass through. That's what causes a lot of allergies. I think a lot of people have peanut allergies and food allergies and other allergies because of the fact that their colon and their digestive system got broken down. 70% of the immune system lives there. Now these proteins start to move into the walls because the cell walls are broken down, or the walls of the intestine are broken down a bit, and all of a sudden the body starts to say, oh, hey, that's a foreign object, let's fight it. And so it makes an antibody against that peanut protein or against that gluten protein or whatever the case may be, and people start to become intolerant from that. We've talked about that in natural health circles for decades. And so this stuff actually starts to help rebuild the cell wall structure. It won't happen in one day. It won't happen in 2 days. But it gets the process going, and then we repeat it. Detoxify and nourish. 25 foods, botanical extracts, and concentrates help support the liver detoxification function with a boost of vitamins, minerals, and enzymes, fiber, and phytonutrients. Enzymes are needed to break down food and digest it. So when we don't have enough enzymes in our food because we've cooked it, or it's been pasteurized, now our body can't break it down. One reason people have a lot of problem with lactose is because they're drinking milk that's been pasteurized. It's been cooked to kill the bugs.